The first blow, an arrogant strike. The Zurith Dominion believed themselves untouchable. For centuries, their fleets drifted across the stars like storms, grinding weaker civilizations into dust. They conquered, enslaved, and burned without pause. When humanity expanded beyond Sol, the Zurith saw only another fragile species to break. The human colony on Lysara 4 was chosen as an example. The skies split as Zurith warships descended, raining plasma fire upon cities still wet with morning dew. Towers crumbled. Children screamed. Thousands were slaughtered before they could even flee. The Dominion's High Commander, standing aboard his gilded flagship, ordered the execution of all survivors, on live transmission, beamed across the stars. "Let Earth watch their children burn," he sneered, tusked mouth curling into a grin. "Let them know civilization has limits, and theirs ends here." The galaxy saw. The colony was ash and silence, and the aliens laughed. The celebration of cruelty. In the Dominion's grand halls, feasts were held. They drank fermented ichor, toasted with blood-red wine, and praised their own genius. The Zurith were not merely victors, they were artists of terror. They mocked humanity in every speech. They broadcast their triumph across neutral systems. The Terrans are timid gardeners, not warriors. They hold pens, not blades. They wield prayers, not fleets. The laughter was cruel, booming. In their arrogance, they forgot one truth written in the marrow of human history. No species burns their children and escapes unscathed. The woman at the table. The galaxy's rulers gathered weeks later in a grand council chamber carved from obsidian. Delegates from across 100 empires attended, each curious how Earth would respond. At the far end of the chamber sat the Zurith High Commander, armored and triumphant, flanked by guards. Around him, alien leaders whispered and traded glances. Humanity had not yet spoken. Surely, they thought, Earth would beg for mercy or remain silent. And then she entered. Not a soldier, not an admiral, not even a warrior. She was a diplomat, Ilara Kine, Earth's envoy to the stars, unarmored, unarmed, draped in simple black, her eyes like sharpened steel. The Dominion laughed at her presence. "Is this their answer?" the High Commander jeered. "They send a woman in silk, not a fleet of steel." But as she sat, the chamber grew colder. She did not smile. She did not bow. She placed a single data crystal on the obsidian table. "This," she said softly, "is our declaration." No roar, no threats. Just silence, her voice cutting sharper than any blade. And the galaxy leaned forward. The silence before the storm. Within hours of her words, the galaxy trembled. Deep space observatories reported flickers at the edge of known space. Shadows the size of continents moved in formation. Humanity had been silent too long, building, preparing, hardening in secret. From behind Luna's iron-veiled shipyards emerged dreadnoughts unseen by alien eyes. Ships so vast they blotted stars from the void. Railguns, kilometers long, glowed with coiled thunder. Fleets that had never left Sol now rose in waves, answering a call older than empires. Galactic comms crackled with intercepted transmissions. "This is Earth Command. We do not seek war, but we will finish it." The galaxy, for the first time in centuries, felt dread. The breaking of chains. The Zurith Dominion, arrogant still, assembled their armada. Thousands of ships lined the black. They believed numbers alone guaranteed victory. But humanity did not come with numbers. They came with precision. The first salvo was a railgun strike, fired from beyond detection range. A single tungsten rod tore through the Dominion's vanguard, vaporizing 3 capital ships in an instant. No warning, No sound, just annihilation. Then came the second wave, drones black as shadows, swarming like locusts, each one armed with intelligence sharp enough to predict alien maneuvers before they happened. Zurith comm channels screamed with panic, admirals roared orders, but every order was met with silence, their ships already dust, their fleets already gone. And as the Dominion faltered, Earth's dreadnoughts emerged, engines flaring blue fire. They did not charge. They advanced slowly, deliberately, like executioners. The storm of retribution. Planets once enslaved by the Dominion saw new stars rising, stars that were not suns, but burning warships falling from orbit. Human marines descended like storms of iron. They moved without mercy, exosuits tearing through fortresses, plasma lances cutting walls like parchment. No cries were answered, no pleas spared. Every world that had celebrated humanity's suffering now trembled, as Terran banners were planted on the ruins of their oppressors. And above it all, Elara Kine's voice echoed across the Dominion's broken channels. You wanted Earth's attention, now you have it. The shattering of supremacy. The High Commander's flagship, the jewel of the Dominion, faced Earth's fleet at last. His vessel, 3 kilometers long, bristled with weapons that had ended civilizations. But against humanity's fury, it was a coffin. Railgun rounds punched holes through its armor, slicing corridors into void. Missile swarms tore through shields, and when the flagship finally cracked, humanity did not let it drift. They boarded. Inside, the High Commander found himself face to face not with soldiers but with her. Elara Kine, the envoy, standing calm among armored marines. You thought strength was measured in tusks and claws, she whispered, but strength is patience, and ours has ended. He lunged in rage. She did not flinch. A marine's gauntlet closed around his throat. The Dominion's greatest warlord died not in battle, but on his knees as humanity watched. Ashes and silence. When the last Dominion ship fell, the galaxy's comms went quiet. Entire star systems dimmed as humanity's fleets passed overhead. Planets surrendered before a single shot was fired. Armadas self-scuttled rather than face Earth's wrath. In the ruins of the council chamber, where laughter once filled the air, whispers now crawled. Leaders who had mocked Earth now stared at shadows, wondering when the Terran gaze would fall on them. It was not the dreadnoughts they feared most. It was not the railguns. It was her, the envoy who had sat in silence, who had spoken softly, and who had unleashed vengeance with a word. The galaxy realized then, the greatest threat in the room was never a warrior. It was humanity's will, embodied in her. The lesson written in fear. Months later, the stars were quieter. The Dominion was ash. Survivors told hushed stories in hidden taverns and darkened halls. They do not shout when angered, one alien murmured. They do not warn when they come, whispered another. They strike only once, and when they do, no empire survives. The word spread, etched into the marrow of 1,000 worlds. Never provoke Earth again. For humanity's patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite.